Baby, be in love with your fantasies. I can be a star, make us shine so bright. Welcome to my dungeon, this is ecstasy. Let me play the fantasy.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Asia.
And it's your boy, BJ. And we back like we never left. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all for holding us down and supporting the channel the strong way. Today, we're going to be checking out a video, how wolves help rivers. Okay? Yeah, I know what y'all saying. Y'all like, what? A wolf?
Wolves help the river?
In the river. Same thing I was thinking, too. Same thing I was thinking. So, yeah, we're going to put our brains together on this one, and we're going to check this one out.
Maybe they take, like, the bad fish out.
Hey, we're talking about the bad fish.
Wolves don't eat fish. They
do.
That's a bear.
They will.
They go pick it out the water.
No, they carnivores. They will.
Eat the fish right out the water?
Yes, definitely.
I'm trying to think what they can do.
I'm thinking about what they can do, too. I don't know. My mind is racing. I have no idea.
Okay.
We also got to give a big shout out to CalixYukon, too, for suggesting this video.
Yeah.
This is definitely something that we've never, like, checked out, something that we don't know anything about, so it's always good. It's always refreshing to just check out new content.
Yeah.
But if you guys do enjoy the video, this is from Sustainable Human. The link for the original video will be in the description below, so you guys can check that out. But, hey, without further ado, we're finna go ahead and check this out.
Let's go on and get into this video, y'all.
How wolves change rivers.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Babe, that's the sound I was hearing that night. I probably should have sounded like that.
They're gonna make me join in.
One of the most exciting scientific findings of the past half-century has been the discovery of widespread trophic cascades. A trophic cascade is an ecological process which starts at the top of the food chain and tumbles all the way down to the bottom. And the classic example is what happened in the Yellowstone National Park in the United States when wolves were reintroduced in 1995. Now, we all know that wolves kill various species of animals, but perhaps we're slightly less aware that they give life to many others. Before the wolves turned up, they'd been absent for 70 years. That the numbers of deer, because there was nothing to hunt them, had built up in the Yellowstone Park, and despite efforts by humans to control them, they'd managed to reduce much of the vegetation there to almost nothing. They'd just grazed it away. But as soon as the wolves arrived, even though they were few in number, they started to have the most remarkable effects. First, of course, they killed some of the deer, but that wasn't the major thing. Much more significantly, they radically changed the behavior of the deer. The deer started avoiding certain parts of the park, the places where they could be trapped most easily, particularly the valleys and the gorges. And immediately, those places started to regenerate. In some areas, the height of the trees quintupled in just 6 years. Bare valley sides quickly became forests of aspen and willow and cottonwood. And as soon as that happened, the birds started moving in. The number of songbirds and migratory birds started to increase greatly. The number of beavers started to increase because beavers like to eat the trees. And beavers, like wolves, are ecosystem engineers. They create niches for other species. And the dams they built in the rivers provided habitats for otters and muskrats and ducks and fish and reptiles and amphibians. The wolves killed coyotes, and as a result of that, the number of rabbits and mice began to rise, which meant more hawks, more weasels, more foxes, more badgers. Ravens and bald eagles came down to feed on the carrion that the wolves had left.
You mean to tell me that the wolves, dang. So they brought the wolves over, or did they, like, they didn't migrate here, right? They just brought them to let them loose, right?
Yeah, in the 70s.
Wow.
They actually brought them, maybe because they were endangered, I don't know, but they brought them into Yellowstone National Park, probably as like a refuge for like some of the wolves.
Okay, to let them be a part too. But then
to let them, just to add them to Yellowstone Park.
Yeah.
Maybe just in regards to like the wolves, like the population numbers, just to try, like a reservation.
Yeah.
To
Well, they did
help preserve, help preserve like the wolves, like the numbers and things like that.
Okay.
Like the population of the wolves.
Interesting.
Ravens and bald eagles came down to feed on the carrion that the wolves had left. Bears fed on it too, and their population began to rise as well, partly also because there were more berries growing on the regenerating shrubs.
Oh,
and the bears reinforced the impact of the wolves by killing some of the calves of the deer. But here's where it gets really interesting. The wolves changed the behavior of the rivers. They began to meander less. There was less erosion. The channels narrowed. More pools formed. More riffle sections, all of which were great for wildlife habitats. The rivers changed in response to the wolves. And the reason was that the regenerating forests stabilized the banks so that they collapsed less often, so that the rivers became more fixed in their course.
Oh.
Similarly, by driving the deer out of some places and the vegetation recovering on the valley sides, there was less soil erosion because the vegetation stabilized that as well. So the wolves, small in number, transformed not just the ecosystem of the Yellowstone National Park, this huge area of land, but also its physical geography.
Wow, look at that.
Wow. Look how beautiful it is.
It is. Look at that.
Oh, I love that sky. I love that sky. Werewolves in London.
Yeah.
This was a very interesting video. Just how, because I was sitting here the whole time before we watched this. I'm like, how could the wolves actually change the rivers? Like, how could they actually like help the ecosystem? And I mean, they sat here and gave you so much great information just regarding it. I never would have known that they had that type of an effect on Yellowstone National Park.
Not a wolf.
But when you kind of think about it, and it's very, very true because, when they're just like bees. Like, if you take bees out of the ecosystem, like literally, if you take bees out of the ecosystem and let's say 5 years pass, 10 years pass, you'll see like how detrimental it was, like taking bees out of the ecosystem. So just taking that one proponent and adding it to the ecosystem, you saw how it just completely like bolstered like certain parts of Yellowstone National Park, the rivers.
Single-handedly almost. Like it seemed like they just did it on their own and they were just doing what they do, like naturally, Wow. I
guess it's true when they say, it's a chain reaction.
It's almost like they were in control, like they were controlling it without actually being like the boss.
Yeah, it's like they're controlling it without even knowing that they're in control.
Right.
And then not just that, but
that's interesting.
The people that run the national park, that bring in like animals and things like that. I wonder if they knew what they were doing prior to that. I don't even think that they did. I knew that they probably knew that obviously adding a certain level of population of wolves and predators into the national park, that it's going to change the ecosystem to some degree. Yeah. But I don't think that they didn't think that it would be that like that. I was about to say catastrophic, but the opposite of catastrophic. Yeah. I don't think that they knew that it would actually like help like replicate, not necessarily replicate, but like regenerate.
Right.
That's what he said. Regenerate like the banks, and I can see how it could regenerate the banks.
All the vegetation and stuff, so they got rid of all the deer, and everything just literally just grew.
They gave a great explanation too.
I never even thought about the effect of that, actually.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like if it's overrun with deer and other like, land grazing mammals, when you add the predators, it will change the way that those animals think and how they normally operate.
Like behave,
and then like where they normally are going to be because it drove them out of certain areas of the park so that, the park could regenerate. And I know that firsthand, just like being like a country boy, like living in the country, like when you have like cows, like grazing in the pasture, it's like you want to like rotate them and move them in certain areas. So
that the grass can grow.
Exactly.
You got to move them, and then because they graze the grass too, trample all over it, graze it, eat everything, and then you got to move them and let it grow back, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I learned that from watching the cow video.
But this was super interesting. Not just that, but just being informative, just gaining more knowledge, more information. This was a real cool video.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, shout out to Kelly for this request, sir. But if y'all enjoyed this video, be sure you give us a big thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, smash the notification bell so you don't miss any videos from Asia and BJ.
Not one.
And if ain't nobody else told you, I love you, and we're going to see y'all in the next video, y'all.
Peace and blessings.
Yeah.
Y'all take it easy now.
Bye.